According to the Archdiocese of Erbil in Iraq, before the 2003 U.S. invasion, 1.4 million Christians called Iraq home. Today, there are about 250,000 Christians left there. Nina Shea, director of the Center for Religious Freedom at the Hudson Institute, joins us now for an update. Nina, thank you for being here.
Great to be here.
New information out today. Recent survey, 41% of families who fled the Nineveh Plains, which is in the north, for Erbil, a little bit farther south, is this right, said they would like to return home. And in 2016, 4% said that they wanted to return home.
They were victims of ISIS genocide. They're survivors, the genocide survivors. They're now seeing their lands in Nineveh become liberated with the help of the coalition. Or thanks to the coalition. And so now they can envision actually going back, but they're going to need a lot of help.
Well, how likely is it that they're going to go back?
Well, they're not going to be able to go back unless they have two things. One is security or stability, and an ability to recover through aid and assistance and help. They're going to need help. They're going to need help from their own government, which is a wealthy government. They have a lot of oil over there. They're also going to need help from the United States.
What does our UN ambassador need to do to help get these families that kind of help and to get them safely home?
The UN has been extremely cruel to this community. They have denied them aid, humanitarian aid, and reconstruction assistance programs. The U.S. ambassador, Nikki Haley, has to be extremely firm with the UN, or we have to do it ourselves. She has been a bold voice in calling out the UN on its discrimination against Israel. She has to do the same thing now for Christians.
But what doesn't make sense to me is that President Trump, like his predecessor, President Obama, has acknowledged genocide of these persecuted Christians. But you say that there's a danger that these Christian areas are going to be omitted from UN reconstruction plans. How can that be?
The UN has consistently marginalized them and allowed them to fall through the cracks, whether it's the humanitarian aid programs, or their reconstruction aid programs, or in the UN refugee camps. The Christians and Yazidis, another genocide minority, cannot go into those camps because they're not safe for them. So there's been the Archdiocese of Erbil, which cares for most of the Christians of Iraq that survived ISIS genocide, so that it has received no aid at all from the U.S. or the UN in 2.5 years, except for a few tarps.
And there's a camp there that has about 6,000 people in it. I understand they've been there for a very long time.
They're overseeing the care of 90,000 Christians in both Erbil and in other places in Kurdistan. And these people have been put at the back of the aid line by the UN. It's been quite deliberate.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us for that update. Nina Shea, director of the Center for Religious Freedom at the Hudson Institute.
Thank you. All right.